If you're trying to work out which solar inverter is best for you in 2026, then this video is for you. G'day everyone, Dan and Matt again from GI Energy. Today we're talking about solar inverters, which ones are best in 2026. This is a little bit of a difficult topic in some respects to sort of judge. Normally with these types of videos we do top 3 or top 5 potentially. It's a bit more challenging to do that because almost everyone's buying an inverter with a battery now. So instead of that format, we decided to just talk about the ones that we consider to be the best at the moment. Yeah. Most people, as I say, will be installing them with a battery, so it's hard to judge the inverter by itself. But I think if you were doing a system that was just solar and there was no immediate or short-term view to put a battery in, then you could judge it by itself. And in that case, I don't think there's any change there to what we've been saying in the last, I don't know, maybe close to 10 years probably.
Yeah, it would be, yeah, dare say it would be now actually.
So the number one inverter standalone is Fronius for us.
Yeah, I think we've said, as you said, it'd be at least a decade now.
Yeah.
They've when they brought out their Snap series that replaced one of their older models, that one really took hold in Australia and became the premium go-to inverter. European made, tons of experience, obviously. Very efficient with the fan, so active cooling, so the inverter runs quite a bit cooler than any other model on the market, which obviously in Australia is very important.
Yeah.
And that's always been one of the reasons why we've used it, because from the monitoring you can see how much power they produce, and maybe where some of the others have that little trail off in the afternoon when they get pretty warm.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of quality, price point, warranty, everything else, I think the Fronius will still be that number one for a while if you're just doing the solar only. Because that inverter nowadays, I mean, I've had 2 at home. I've had one since 2017. Never missed a beat.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive how they just run over time.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one at home as well.
Yeah.
I think hands down, really, to be honest, the only downside if you are doing solar only with Fronius is the cost. They're more expensive.
Yeah.
Probably a fair bit more expensive now than others that are commonly used. Aside from that, there's no downside really. The only thing that you could say there is probably, and will lead into to Sungrow as well, is Sungrow support has been better.
Yep.
Other than that, Fronius is, aside from cost, more reliable and more efficient.
Yep.
They've got a great range, so there's very little downside there. If you are looking at a battery though, that changes things, because now you've got the option of having an inverter with a different battery, or an all-in-one system. So that's why at the beginning of the video I was saying it's a bit hard to do that the same way as we usually do. So the ones that we use more commonly there, we'll start with Sungrow. They would always usually get number 2 on our list, I would say, for a long time in terms of best standalone inverters. And they make a great product, obviously, that pairs with a great battery. So we install a considerable amount of them, and they are one of the best products in the market.
Yeah, again, been around for forever basically. Been in Australia since 2013 roughly.
Yeah, long time.
So very long time. Great, robust is the word I know you like a lot. But they just feel that way. Support's great, really good range, single phase, 3-phase. And as you mentioned, if you're looking maybe a little bit more on the bang for buck side, that's the product we've been using for a long time. And commercial range is also great as well.
Yes. So
they pretty much tick every box there on that side. And yeah, I'm sure we'll continue to install a lot of them in the years to come, because that support that you get from them is like no other company. So that's really what we like.
Make a great battery. So you've got Sungrow inverter with Sungrow battery. That's always good to have the 2 different products there from the same place. There's no pointing of fingers if something goes wrong. There's very little room for error in terms of communication between the 2. And they have a good range, as you said, commercially as well, not just for inverters, but for batteries also. So they now have, just imminently being released, a 110 kilowatt hybrid inverter, which is can be paired with battery stacks that are 50 kilowatt hours a stack, which it's quite impressive in terms of the space they use and the density of the battery and the price point.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of the inverters, they're fantastic. And while we haven't got a list of 1, 2, 3, or 5, or whatever it might be, they're up there with the best of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Then it gets a little bit more nuanced, I guess, because we're also installing, and we also think that Sigenergy make a great inverter, which is referred to more commonly as a controller with their brand, but it's an inverter.
Yep.
It's a you can install some of them in the range as a standalone hybrid inverter.
Yep.
I don't know that there's many of that happening. They're normally paired with the battery, but they are a separate inverter controller, and they're a great product as well.
Yeah, we've done a couple of those. As you said, probably 99% are with the battery, the all-in-one solution. But yeah, from the inverter only, it's definitely been a really attractive product. Monitoring side's really good. I guess point to note on all three of those is they also have their own EV charger, AC charger. So if you have a car there as well, you can incorporate that into the ecosystem, and it can run from surplus solar or other settings that you have. So SIG's definitely worth mentioning in that part. You probably don't or won't install as many of those as you would the other two.
As a standalone inverter.
As a standalone, because that's probably with the plan to get a battery in a reasonable time frame, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely still worth noting on that list. But other than that, there's not really too much else. I don't think now that we personally install.
I think that's the issue, isn't it? That when you say we will install, as we talk about in all our videos, we do a lot of due diligence on the products that we will install, and that's probably why this list is quite short.
Yeah.
Because there's heaps of others out there that a lot of them are either built into batteries or paired with certain batteries. Most of them now are moving towards being inside the battery unit, and they're the ones that get talked about more, obviously, with the battery rebate.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of products out there that, frankly, we would not install, regardless of if a customer requests it or not, because we understand the liability, and we don't want that for them or for us.
Yeah.
So there's a lot missing from this list. We're not going to name them all, because we don't need to do that. We're not here to badmouth products. We're here to talk about ones that we really do like. But we've just scratched the surface there with the ones that are available, really, and there's so many others that you have to be careful of.
Yeah.
One of the statistics that, if people watch more than one of our videos, you probably get bored of me saying this, but there was a period of time, about 7-year period, where solar panels were became very popular in Australia, and 83% of them disappeared in that time window, which meant that 83% of warranties also disappeared with them. And the same thing will happen with batteries, and the same thing does happen with inverters.
Yeah.
So these are the ones that we think are most reputable, and they're the ones that, if you're looking for a solar with or without battery, they're the only ones really that you would consider, unless what we haven't talked about is Enphase or SolarEdge, which the use case for those is for microinverters with Enphase or optimizers with SolarEdge, where you've got a situation with significant shading or debris or very limited roof space where you have to have individual or a very small group of panels. They can be used there.
Yeah, as you said, we don't tend to install that many now, just with the way the industry is with subsidies.
Yeah.
And just the way other inverters have caught up with their own, obviously, innovations of their own inverters.
Yeah.
And very niche product in terms of the suited use case as well, most likely now, as panels have improved and everything else has improved.
Yeah.
So they're still obviously there to be installed and may suit the odd site. So yeah, definitely worth mentioning the brands because they're pretty well known.
Yeah.
But yeah, very limited use case now, I think, really for a lot of those.
And if you did come across a situation where you needed to have that type of scenario, you'd lean towards Enphase over SolarEdge. Unless it was a larger commercial system, then you'd probably lean towards SolarEdge.
Yeah.
It suits itself a little bit better. The cost just gets a little bit out of proportion with Enphase on a larger commercial system, having to have obviously individual inverters on every panel. SolarEdge is not as prohibitive in that sense for larger commercial systems, but usually you would use a string inverter now, and as you said, the main benefit was the shade handling, and now panels have a better shade handling technology. String inverters have different things that help cope with shade. So it's really only if you had a very complex design and you really wanted to maximize a roof area with lots of different small areas, then you'd consider those two products.
No, I agree.
I think that pretty much covers it. The inverters don't get talked about as much now. With batteries, they are very important. They're worth talking to your consultant about. If you are speaking to someone about solar and or battery, obviously inverter is a big part of that. Make sure you're asking them about it, and make sure you're comfortable and doing your due diligence on the product. But what we always say is do your due diligence on the company first. Make sure that the person installing and looking after you for the longevity of your system has been around for a while, knows what they're doing, is designing something specifically for you rather than an off-the-shelf solution. And then once you find someone that you're very comfortable with in that respect, then you can talk to them obviously in more detail about all the different products that are being installed.
Absolutely, spot on.
If we've missed anything, or if you have any questions, please hit us up in the comments. And thanks very much for watching.
Thank you.